All right.
At this point, is everything now trending toward Auburn, or is it still?
Yeah, all Auburn, all game plan kind of from this point on with enough. We'll still have some good-on-good mixed in each practice to kind of keep everybody sharp from the speed of the game and kind of that fastball. We still got a lot of work we got to get done against each other, but yeah, it's all game plan and really trying to get dialed in physically and mentally to get ready for this opponent.
We have just kind of heard whispers and stuff. Carlos Watkins, his hand, is he going to be able to play?
Oh, yeah, he's good. He's practicing full speed. He'll be ready to roll.
Health-wise, everybody else?
Yeah, I only had one issue. We had Chandler Reeves yesterday, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday, just doing a pass rush drill. They think he tore his ACL, but we got to confirm all that. But that was kind of the initial, deal. But you never know until you get in there. I remember when Brian Maxwell was here, they thought he tore his ACL, and then when it got in there, it wasn't torn. So the MRIs aren't always right or conclusive, but that's the initial thought is that he tore his ACL. So really hate that. But better to do it now than November. So we'll get started on the rehab and get that young man back. He'll be better than ever.
You might have just said this. Did you have Marcus Edmond back today?
He was back in there today, working, trying to, we're trying to, he hasn't really cut it loose in a while, so we were pretty cautious with him today. But he did some man-to-man, did all of his individual work. So just, hopefully each day he can push it a little bit more and more.
Is Carlos wearing a cast?
Yeah, he's got a soft cast. Yeah.
How do you feel about the defensive ends right now, the guys that came in to back up Brian?
They're good. Richard is a guy that's got some experience, but he's a completely different guy than he was this time last year. He's 260 pounds and strong, and just more knowledgeable, and with that comes confidence. So he's doing an excellent job. I think Cleveland Ferrell is a very talented freshman that hadn't played a snap, but we're glad we got him, and he's getting ready to get some experience, and I think he'll get better each and every quarter, each and every game. I really do. And then moving Christian out there has been great. He does a super job. He's really a natural. He can play there just as well as he can play inside. He's a great football player. Chris Register, y'all have heard me brag on many times, one of the most improved guys we got. Jabril, that's been a great move for him. So I like what we got at that spot going in.
Is Christian noticeably faster or stronger compared to where he was coming in as a true freshman last year?
Yeah. When you come in as a true freshman, you're still learning, and now he knows what he's doing. And he's got just a high level of confidence about everything that he does. And then he's just, he can move. He's a big old guy, but he's in a lot better shape than he was this time last year. Not that he was in bad shape, but he's just, his body's matured as well, and he's going to have a great season, no doubt.
What about the other cornerback spot? Is it starting to settle down a little bit over there?
Well, just battling with Mark and Ryan Carter, and trying to work Edmond back in there as well. But Trayvon is a guy that's really competed well. I thought he had a really good day today. But probably going in, it'd probably be Mark or Carter. Right now, we'll continue to. We got 2 more weeks of practice and prep and game planning and details and all that type of stuff. But we'll see who ends up starting the game. But I think both those guys will play a lot.
What else does Mark need to show you to grab that job?
Just details, consistency, his technique, and got to go do it on the game field. I think that's the next step. I think. Carter is a guy that's been around. He's a veteran guy. He's played a lot. He's got some confidence to him. He's a much more mature football player than he's ever been, and he should be. But I think that's going to be a battle that's going to kind of continue on. And, I think the next step for Mark is just going and doing it in the games on a consistent basis. And he's going to get that opportunity because he's earned it.
Fields and Carter, are they similar stylistically? They both seem like
yeah, they're both physical guys. I think Mark might be a little faster, long speed. Carter's pretty explosive in the lateral movement. I think Carter right now probably a little better tackler right now, but again, he's just a little more confident in some of those things. He's played a lot. I mean, he's played nickel, dime. He's played safety. He's played a lot of ball. You don't really realize it, but he's been exposed to a lot more. But Mark's, I'm very pleased with Mark. Mark has done a great job, and I think we're in good shape. I think those guys are going to have a great year. I really do. I think our corners are going to be well prepared, and I think when it's all said and done, we're going to look up and those guys are going to have a great year.
And with 3 weeks of camp beyond Kane, with his added size that he put on the offseason, what have you been able to see a noticeable
Yes,
benefit of that?
I think same thing. Some of those other guys that was talking about earlier, just his confidence. I mean, he's played this time last year. If you really think about it, think about our offense in general. I mean, Hitch hadn't played, Frew Morgan hadn't played, Hearn really hadn't played, Dahlman hadn't really done it, Leggett hadn't done it, and then Renfro, Ray, Dion, and Travion, none of those guys have played. So just confidence. He's put the work in. He's excited to be back playing. He lost a lot, and so I think he has a great appreciation for his opportunity. His coachability has been excellent, but when you put the work in the weight room and you get that size to go with that speed and athleticism that he has, you just your confidence just grows, and it's transferred onto the field. Just much more physical as far as his releases, his route running, playing off of defenders, being able to go up and being able to go up and fight for the ball and absorb blows. All of those things come with that added confidence that comes from the strength.
Travion made some good strides last year. Do you think he's ready to make some big plays in the game, despite all the great wide receivers we have?
Absolutely. We got 6 guys that we play any of. I love all of them. I'm not going to. I feel that way about all of them. I think last year it wasn't that way. We had, especially when we lost Mike. We really had 2 guys, and the rest of them were freshmen. They kind of had to grow up. But now, I think those 6 guys can go and execute in any situation, any type of play. And then Cornell is a guy that's getting better each day. What a talent he is. And then Overton, same thing. Overton is the biggest thing with him right now is he's just physically got to. He just got to develop physically. But boy, does he have the skills. But he's just a little bit further down compared to those guys. Because we got some guys that have really, grinded in that weight room. But Travion is a young man that I think is going to have a heck of a year for us. He played a couple different spots. Very dependable.
Could you compare DeAndre to maybe Mike Williams when he came in?
Yeah, similar. Mike was probably 200 when he got here. He was probably about 200. Skinny, looked like a basketball player, and that's what Overton looks like. Looks like a basketball player, but he ain't gonna look that way long. We're gonna drop him in that grease, that power hour. And he'll come out a new man. And he's a great young man. He's got great work ethic. He knows that he's got to get a little stronger to be able to be effective like he wants to. Guys like him, that's one of the biggest challenges when we get them, because we're going to get great athletes at the receiver position. And most of the guys that we're getting, very few people walked up and played man-to-man on them in high school. Very few. And so they've never really had to learn how to play with their hands. They never really had to learn how to, tie your hands, eyes, and feet together and redirect and things like that. That's kind of the, where he's at. And then really playing behind your pads, behind your hands, and being physical in the combat zone. That's a challenge for him. When you look up and there's Cordray Tankersley breathing on you. He ain't had many of those in high school. So just a different step in the, process that he's got to go through in developing as a receiver. But we're fortunate because we're able to bring him along at his pace.
You said the other night that Tavian would definitely play, but with the depth at running back and even out wide where you could maybe put him in a slot or something, how do you make sure he gets enough touches to make the burning a red shirt worthwhile?
I ain't worried about that. I mean, we're gonna play the best guy and play as many of them as we can, and I don't have any type of. He's gonna get better. This is a guy that's physically ready. So what? I don't need to put him in power hour and get him physically ready. He's a guy that mentally just has to be exposed, and the reps that he gets from practice, the game plans and meetings, the opportunity that he gets to play when he plays, he's going to be so much better. And if you look at it, he's going to be a guy that'll be critical next spring. So it's important that he gets some good experience, and he will. There's no doubt he will.
Any walk-ons that have stood out that might be
Yeah,
competing, whether it's critical special teams or team?
Yeah, well, I think right now we still haven't made a decision on the backup punter. Spires and Batson and King have all three. They're like kind of neck and neck. Now Spires we could redshirt. Batson and King have already been redshirted, but we're going whoever the best guy, whoever wins it, that's what we're going to go. And we're really giving them all opportunity. The distance, the hang times, the nets, all that stuff counts. But those three guys are in the mix for that backup punter spot. Austin Spence is battling SDs for the snapper spot. Both those guys have been walk-on guys for us. But other than that, right now, that's probably the main guys.
Any of the backup punters? Any of them pushing Andy?
No. Andy is at his own level. He has had a great fall camp. Andy's got a chance, I think, to punt on the next level. I really do. I mean, this kid has had a phenomenal camp, and he's just a worker. He's a grinder. He's an athlete. That's what a lot of people don't know about Teasdale is he is a really good athlete. He can run. He was a great lacrosse player in high school. Had some opportunities to go play lacrosse on scholarship, but he really wanted to, chase his dream of playing football. But I really think he's got a chance to get a good look at the next level if he'll have the type of season that I think he's going to have. But he's definitely separated.
Where's he had to grow the most as a punter from?
Just consistency and just it wasn't something that he had really done a lot, and so just consistency with his technique, his drops, all that type of stuff. He's been outstanding.
How underrated was he last season? You lose a punter early to the NFL, which is obviously a rarity. But he comes in. He obviously didn't blow the competition away, but he was pretty reliable.
Yeah, he was very reliable. And the thing about Teasdale, it's one thing I tell him all the time. We don't really. Sometimes stats can be very, very misleading. We have an offense that's going to move the ball more times than not, and so he's going to do it. How did he do punting in? He did a phenomenal job of pinning people deep and creating field position all year long, because that's what he was asked to do. We're not out there, just trying to punt for things to look pretty. We're trying to create field position, but he can do it. He can do anything you need him to do, punting the football. But it was big. It's the same thing. He was a guy that hadn't really played last year. Hugo hadn't played, and so we're in a much better spot with those guys going in than we were this time last year. In every sense of the word, physically, mentally, you name it. And Teasdale's a great leader too. He's a guy that's really become a guy that these guys truly respect because of how he's worked in the weight room.
Greg's still young, but is he taking on that role too?
He sure has. Greg's been he's right at 90%. I think he's kicked, it's like 48 or 49 competitive kicks that we chart, competitive situations throughout camp, and I think he's right at 90%.
Long off the top of your head.
Tremendous job. Say it again.
A long off the top of your head.
Last year he made several from 55 on our practice field. We Tuesdays is always our long kick game, and he made several from 55. But I think that's well within his range. Leg is strong, just a matter of hitting it. He hits it solid. He's got the leg.
If you're in the third quarter at Auburn and Mitch needs to breathe it for whatever reason, would it be Ankrum going out there or Taylor Hearn?
Oh no, we throw Ankrum out there in a heartbeat. Feel good about him. He's had a heck of a camp. You know, always. You never know till you get out there and you see the look in everybody's eyes, but he's demonstrated in practice that we can trust him. You know, it very well could be we pop Hearn out there and put Maverick over at guard as well. You know, if it's an extended amount of time, but if it's a series or something like that, I think we're all confident that Tremaine's ready to go play. Just like last year when we were going to throw Mitch out there as a true freshman. You know, Ankrum's been here since January and a really good football player.
Hugo on extra points, is that going well this year?
He's been great. He's been great. Hopefully it'll continue to go well. I don't think he's missed one.
At linebacker, you talked about maybe Trey kind of pushing. You guys have mentioned that in camp,
Yeah.
a little bit. That give you some options, especially with Brian on the shelves. That give you some options to play more guys than maybe even you thought in that opener against Auburn.
Oh yeah, we're going to play more guys. We trust more guys. You know, that's the difference in us defensively than last year. Last year we just didn't have a lot of trust, simply because our defense is complicated and we had a lot of experienced guys, and it was a huge drop off at linebacker because it was all freshmen. Same thing at end, all freshmen, and it's a little more of a challenge to just throw a guy out there, because again, you can't punt on defense. And so these guys, a lot more guys, we feel like we can win with. Without a doubt, I think Trey Lamar is a guy we can win with right now. Kendall Joseph is ready. Dorian, Jalen is a guy we can play in a heartbeat. JD's had a great camp. Trust him. He can go play. We all know about Ben. So we just got more guys there that you can go and they're going to execute at a high level for you. It's the same thing I think in the secondary at corner. I think we got more guys that we trust. I think we're going to get there at safety right now. Denzel and Muse are two rookies, so they're not quite there yet. But I think that they're coming, and they're getting better every single day. And I think hopefully by mid-season they'll be getting some good PT. Same thing at end. I think we're going to be able to play 4, 5, 6 guys there. Same thing inside, and I think that's a healthy situation for everybody.
Is Adam Choice clear-cut number 2, or is that still very much up for grabs?
I don't know. I think they're all still battling. Some days he's clear-cut number 2. Some days he's not clear-cut number 2. Right now I think they're all number 2. I think from our standpoint, I'm always curious to see who Tony's going to run in there because I like them all. I don't have any problem with them. What I've seen in camp, I have no problem with any of those guys going in the game. Gallman is still the guy, but he's earned it, and he's teaching those other guys how to grind. Like you got to grind to be great, and those other guys have bought in and they're responded. But it's a very competitive situation, and same thing I was just talking about at linebacker. We just trust more guys, just more really good depth there.
We haven't heard a lot about either Chad or Shaq Smith. Are they coming along? Is Shaq going to play, or where do they kind of sit, and what do they have to do to kind of take it to the next level?
Well, Chad has definitely made some progress. He's going to be a guy that's going to be on our special teams. That's going to probably be more his role this year, be a special teams guy, and hopefully get some opportunity to get in the game and get some backer. But it's just a very competitive situation right now. Trey's in front of it. It's just the way it is, and it's not a negative to Chad. It's just a positive to Trey. But Chad is got a bright future. He's got 4 years left, and he's just going to, he's what we thought he would be. He's just still, maturing into the player that he can be. And then same thing with Shaq. Shaq's got every tool that you could possibly want in a backer. But right now it's just not showing up, like it needs to for him to compete with the guys he's competing with. And so we're not sure that he's going to play right now. We don't want to play a guy just to play a guy. I know this, if B.J. Goodson hadn't redshirted, he wouldn't have probably been drafted. BJ looked the part as a freshman, but he wasn't ready to play, and really didn't become a true starter till his 5th year. You know, he was our heavy Sam as a junior, but his senior year was the first time he became a starter. I mean, he's a 4th-round draft pick. You know, if they'll stick with it, guys will develop and they will be successful. So I think he's a perfect example of that. And again, had we played him before he was ready, then he would have been gone as a junior. I don't know that he gets drafted. So, you know, same thing with Dodd. 5 years removed from high school before he ever became a starter at Clemson. So, you know, it all will work out if guys will continue to work and grind and do the things that they each need to do to get better. And I don't have any doubt that those guys will do that.
Okay, Vaughn.